Okay, on the African Pride EP, I have a record called God Made Me Funky, and I'm basically just paying homage and letting everyone know that nothing is possible without the power of God, and basically I'm saying that I'm just a vehicle and very, very small in the whole scheme of things in terms of the existence of man. So what I'm talking about when I say God made me funky, I'm just saying the reason I'm in the position I'm in is strictly because God wants me to be there. So there's probably a bigger reason other than just making records, and I probably don't even know what it's really about, but I'm doing my job to the fullest. And in the video, we tried to amplify some of the African pride. We instituted African dances at the beginning, and we made transitions. We showed a little kid growing, supposedly being me, growing into the situation, which you're seeing today, this great, cool rapper here. And this is the video, God Made Me Funky.
Funky. Got to be funky.
Look at me. Cool as I wanna be, fly as they come, messiah to some, born to be one of the chosen few, chosen to go into rhymes that change the time as it grows into riches, it switches your whole lifestyle. You're in the spotlight, overnight flight, miles away today. I'm flying high, so I give thanks to the man in the sky. I remember a time whenever a rhyme left your lips, it only could get nickels and dimes, but nickels and dimes wasn't enough to eat. So I guess you could say I was saved by the beat. On the street, surrounded by sin, I never sell out and I wouldn't give in. God said you can win, look within, see your skin, you're my kin, and I made you funky. God made me funky. God made me funky. F-U-N-K-E. Esoteric, non-generic, potent lyrics. Only those with ears will hear it. As above, so below. Lucky 7-7, heaven, ebb and flow. Back and forth, south to north, right to left, life to death, east to west. Knowledge step, 33 degrees, 327 left to see. So God created a light in which I shine, with sublime rhymes that inclines the mind to find ancient secrets. Seek it, speak it, teach it, keep it, peak it. We get stronger and reap it. Benefits, then it gets more intricate as you get deeper into it. To open the door, the power of God's the one key, and I opened it, and God made me funk. God made me funk. God made me funk. F-U-N-K-E. Is the way God made me. Is the power He gave me. Like the fans that pay me. Like the stations that play me. It's how I made it through the 80s. Connected to the ladies. You know a devil can't faze me. I ain't afraid me. God made me funk. God made me funk. Over like a fat rat. The blind see what I got, another see how I got that. Position with vision, precision, decisions like a living prism. I'm shining light on the money I made and the rhymes parlayed, and you can see I'm paid. I condemn them that focus on the ends as opposed to the mean killing machines. Man, I'm the real high roller cause I'm rolling with God. Save the children, that's my job. Working overtime, going over rhyme, mind over matter, spirit over mind. I sympathize with the brothers on the street cause it's genocide and we all gotta eat, but do the right thing and you'll never be hungry. I kept the faith and God made me funky. God made me funky. God made me funky. God made me funky.
African Pride campaign and the record and the whole movement was my way of taking the self-destruction movement one step further on a personal level, because I feel that in order to know where you're going, you need to know your history, and there is more to be learned about African history that everybody, not just rappers and not just rap fans, but everybody in general needs to know about. So what I'm trying to do in terms of this campaign, African Pride, is to try to stimulate some thought, to try to get people to start leaning more towards finding out about African history, and not only saying the blacks, or not making it a black-white issue, but I'm just saying that everyone needs to know more about African history because it reflects on everyone. And I think the ignorance of it really amplifies some of the hate that's going on between whites and blacks and the racial tension. And I think right now we're at a time where racial tension is at an all-time high. I think the most fun about the business in general would have to be touring. There's like stages, and I like usually relate it to like sex, like foreplay during and, you know, afterwards. So calm down. Okay, look at it. The hat and glasses gives me a certain persona. I think it creates a sense of mystique, so to speak. And also, on a personal level, I think I spend more time being myself than being Kool Moe Dee. Not to say that I'm not Kool Moe Dee, you know, it gets a little confusing there. But I spend more time being off the stage and trying to live a normal life and going to malls and record stores and just shopping or driving, or maybe even taking a walk in the park. And I think if I take the hat and shades off, then nobody knows what I look like. And I think most celebrities or stars or entertainers or whatever do it the reverse. They put the shades on like it's really going to hide, and, you know, you can't really tell. So I think most people associate me with the shades and the hat, and when I take it off, they're not looking for it, except for the close friends. They probably would know. And if I'm in New York, since I grew up here, a lot more people know what I really look like anyway. So it's not anything with rumors like cross-eyed, and no, nothing like that. It's not, no. Stop the Violence movement basically came about after the end of the Dope Jam tour. That was the summer of 1988, and out of all the places that we had toured, myself, Eric B. and Rakim, Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie, Ice-T, and Boogie Down Productions, once we finished the tour, New York was the last stop, and that was the only place that we had a death. And the atmosphere backstage was a combination of frustration, anxiety, and also fear. And we felt, as entertainers, that it was definitely time to do something about this. Not to say that a record can actually make the complete difference, but it's a start somewhere. And then we put the record together called Self-Destruction. KRS-One put the track down, rather D-Nice put the track down. He co-produced it with KRS-One. And basically, the premise was for everybody to put their own input in, as opposed to just writing a record and have people saying lyrics. Everyone was trying to come from the heart, to speak on what they felt was relevant and what they felt was the key to the black-on-black crime, and try to put it in, say, 8 to 16 bars. My rhyme, personally, was talking about the relation between the Ku Klux Klan, past and present, and I wanted to let people know that, especially the brothers and sisters, that we had a lot of struggling to do in the 60s, and for us to be free in the 90s, 80s and 90s, and then have that freedom after fighting so long to get free, yeah, we'll edit that. After fighting so long to get that freedom, to attain that freedom, to come out and kill each other over drugs is like ludicrous, and it's like a step backwards. So I ended my rhyme with I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man. I think that that was a statement for me, because I'm always talking about things from a historical perspective, and I feel that if you understand racism from a historical perspective, you remember that the country was openly racist back in the decade of the 50s and the 60s, and the things that we're going through now were planted and put into effect way back then, and a lot of people are just ignorant to the fact that a lot of these things are basically planned and manipulated for us to go through these things, and amplifying and feeding off the hate is not going to be the answer. So if anybody looks at a Malcolm X tape and then goes back and says, okay, I'm going to start killing white people because this is what they did, then that's the premise that a wicked person would like you to feed into. You have to understand the situation, the time period, and try to make progress from that point of view. Censorship in rap music, censorship in general. On the subject of censorship, yeah, on the subject of censorship, on the one hand, I could see where all the hoopla are and all of the negative vibrations are coming from and why people get so caught up. But on the other hand, I don't see why that negativity should be imposed upon the artists or artists that are doing the so-called profane, obscene lyrics. You have comedians, Andrew Dice Clay, Red Fox, and you have entertainers, Two Live Crew, Madonna. There's lots of what they consider promiscuous rated X type of lyrics, promiscuous rated X type of shows or whatever. That is basically on the artist, and you have to also realize that there is a group, a large group of people that this appeals to. So if you're gonna come down on the Two Live Crew for what they're doing, I think the real focus should be on the fact that they can sell 1.5 million records, and there is a mentality that they relate to, that they directly feed into. So there's 1.5 million children, adults, or whatever around this country that basically relate to everything that they say. I personally can listen to Two Live Crew and laugh at it and shrug it off and take it for what it's worth. To get really caught up on it, on the one hand, you make them too important. It's because you put so much importance on what they're doing and their influence on the society, and you have to realize that they are a product of an environment. So when you speak out against an artist, especially that comes from the street, that comes from a situation that's full of frustration, you attack it from the core. And the real core of the matter is the fact that America has provided a situation where there's ghettos and there's underprivileged youths that live with a lot of tension and frustration, and the rappers that are basically coming from this situation have a chance to express themselves. And when you express yourself, you basically talk about your experiences and what you can relate to and what you know about. And like I said before, 1.5 million people can relate to what they're talking about because there's that many people living in that type of situation. So censorship is cool if you are the censor. I feel that I should be the censor. If I'm a parent, I can understand a parent getting upset and saying that they might not want their sons or daughters to listen to it, but that's not the avenue either, because when you suppress or hide or alienate what you perceive as a problem, it only amplifies and gets bigger because you create a lust in your children to go out and find these records. And when you put the sticker on it, it's like more advertisement. Whether you know it or not, the media has taken it to a point where Two Live Crew's records are now reselling. The records that had stopped selling are selling again because you've created all of this interest. As a responsible parent, I think it's your job to not tell your child not to listen to it. But if he or she does listen to it and buy the records, then you have discussions on why they say what they say and where this mentality comes from, and try to institute some positivity. The only way that you can combat what you perceive to be negative is by coming back with something positive. Suppression and alienation is definitely not the route.
Okay, so get down.
I gotta get it, I got to get it. I left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. I gotta get it, I got to get it. My mother went away for a month-long trip, cutting some friends on an ocean liner ship. She made a big mistake by leaving me home. I had to roam, so I picked up the phone. Got Ollie up to see what was going down. Told him I pick him up so we could drive around. Took the Dodge Dart, a 74. My mother left the yard, but I needed one more. Shaheed had me covered with 100 greenbacks. So we left Brooklyn and we made big tracks. Drove down the belt, got on the conduit. Came to a toll, we paid and went through it. Had no destination, we was on a quest. I laid in the back so he can get rest. Drove down the road for 2 days and a half. The sun had just risen on a dusty path. Just then a figure had caught my eye. A mirror for Sombrero who was 4 feet high. I pulled over to ask where he was at. His index finger, he tipped off his hat. El Segundo, he said, my name is Pedro. If you need directions, I'll tell you pronto. Need a civilization, some sort of reservation. He said a mile south, there's a fast food station. Thanks to y'all, as I started the motor, Ali said,
Damn, Tip, what did you drive so far for?
Well, describe to me what the wallet looks like.
Anyway, a gas station we passed. We got gas, and went on to get grub. It was a nice little pump in the middle of nowhere. Anywhere would've been better. I ordered enchiladas and I ate them. Ali had the fruit punch. When we finished, we thought for ways to get back. I had a hunch. Ali said,
Pay for lunch.
so I did it. Pulled out the wallet and I saw this wicked, beautiful lady. She was a waitress there. Put the wallet down and stared to put me back into reality. Here's Shaheed.
Yo, Tip, man, you got what you need?
I checked for keys and started to step. What do you know? My wallet I forget. Yo, it was a brown wallet. Had props numbers. Had my Jimmy hats. I gotta get it, man. Lord have mercy. The heat got hotter. Ali starts to curse me. I feel bad, but he makes me feel badder. Chit chatter. Cars we scatter. Break it on out. We was northeast bound. Jetting on down at the speed of sound. 3 days coming and 3 more going. We get back and there was no slack. 490 Madison, we're here, Shy. He said, alright, Tip, see you tomorrow. Thinking about the past week, the last week. Hands go in my pocket, I can't speak. Hop in the car and torpedo to the shack. Shaheed, we gotta go back. When he said why, I said we gotta go. Cause I left my wallet in El Segundo. Yeah, I left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. I gotta get it, I got to get it. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
I'm standing here with a group called The Tribe Called Quest. First of all, I know you guys are very tired. You've been doing some videos today. I'd like to introduce yourselves. You first.
Hi, it's Jerobi from my tribe. It's the Mystic Man. Don't forget that part.
Kitten.
Wait, let's do it again. What's that?
Kitten.
That's Q-Tip, for those that couldn't catch it. He's real, talks fast. Q-Tip. This guy over here.
Assalamu alaikum, Ali Shaheed Muhammad.
And last but not least.
Fife.
That's all. Phife.
Spell it right. Okay, Q-Tip. What is the meaning of A Tribe Called Quest? A lot of people like knowing. He's looking at his people right now, but we're gonna get to that in a second. What's the meaning of A Tribe Called Quest?
Tribe Called Quest are a group of human beings consisting more than 4 that just speak on things socially.
Why,
as we like wander and meander through life and things.
I got you. Why a tribe?
Tribe is the Afrocentric holding name for us because when we speak on things, we speak through Afrocentric eyes, and it's a name that shows a populace, a plural, more than just one.
Interesting. And what is the quest?
Quest is like everyday life. Each day is a quest into life, deeper and deeper and deeper. So, just like the average Joe Schmoes, but with flair, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay, the last video, left my wallet in El Segundo. Do you mind, elaborating on the concept, where it came from, and, what is it really all about?
That record was just like a lighthearted record and video. I mean, just to show a little bit about Into a Tribe Called Quest. Not really Into a Tribe Called Quest, but showing how we wander and travel, and our travels can lead us to anywhere, including El Segundo, which happens to be an imaginary place. It's not a real place.
And you just finished another video. What was that video?
That video is Bonita Applebum. It's the next single off of our album.
Tired of looking at the cameras.
We just finished shooting it. Just came straight here to do this, so forgive the way we look, but it was a cool video. Can't wait for it to come out.
What's the concept?
It's just, well, the song is like, we did it in the 10th grade, and It's just your everyday little horny song for you, especially at that age and going to a school where the ratio of girls is like 10 to 1. So
Yes.
you know,
You're
it
stricken
just
with that problem.
we just did a song and made fun with it, you know.
You guys got a totally different look, you know, than most rappers today. You want to explain what your look is about, the hoods and things like that? Maybe that guy over here, he looks like he doesn't really want to talk, but we're going to force him because this is a group thing here.
What's that question again?
The hoods.
We're going to get
Okay.
Explain native tongues.
Okay, native tongues. It's just a group of human beings. 3 groups, as you know. De La Soul, Jungle Brothers, and ourselves.
That's it. That's all.
And that's the native tongues, and we just do our own thing.
What do you mean by
We're different from everybody else.
What does native tongue mean?
Different.
Well, nah, native tongue we're all from one place, particular place, and we all speak a language that is the same and is understood to all, you know, and that common language is music, you know. We speak to people musically, you know, and it's 3 groups who are on the same wavelength, you know, musically, mentally, the whole bit, you know, personality-wise, and it's just, you know, 3 groups getting together and doing what we enjoy and what we love, I guess what we were born for, you know, and the concept of the hoods, that's like our secret weapon, so to say, is going into the second album. So just stay tuned. We can't really talk too much about the hoods unless anyone else wants to talk about the hoods.
Pretty much our alter egos.
Nah, well, it's like a Tribe Called Quest. It's like a caterpillar turns to a butterfly. Where we do it like each alternating album. Like this first album, you see sort of like a solo side. So while everybody's looking that way and going up this path, then boom, we do something totally different, which is in the future.
Right, so we can't talk too much about the hoods. It's our secret weapon.
Interesting. We'll be right back with more of A Tribe Called Quest.
Don't mean to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. So next time a girl gives you the play, just remember my rhyme to get the hell away. Just last week when I was walking down the street, I observed this lovely lady that I wanted to meet. I walked up to her, I said hello, she said hey, you kinda cute. I said yes, I know, but by the way, sweetheart, what's your name? She said my friends like to call me Exotic Elaine. I said my name is the Prince. She said why? I said well, I don't know, I'm just a hell of a guy, but enough about me, yo, let's talk about you and all the wonderful things that you and I can do. I popped some cash in a little bit of time. I showed some cash, then the girl was mine. I took her over town, I wined her and dined her. She asked me, did I like her? I said, well, kinda. All of a sudden, she jumped out of seat, snatched me up by my wrist and took me out in the street. She started grabbing all over me, kissing and hugging, so I shoved her away. I said, you better stop bugging. She got mad, looked me dead in my face, threw her hands in the air and yelled out, hey! I got scared when she started to yell, so I handed her my wallet and ran like hell. I was ducking through alleys, right and left, but when the cops caught up, they almost beat me to death. I was arrested, charged with aggravated assault. But it wasn't my fault. Well, nevertheless, don't mean to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. So next time a girl gives you the play, just remember my rhyme to get the hell away. One Friday night, coolin' watching a Mike Tyson fight. I was maxing and relaxing, sipping on tequila when this girl walked up. She said, hi, my name is Sheila. I responded by saying hello. She paid for my drink and then said, let's go. 20 minutes later, things were starting to cook. As we pulled up into a house, I said, I'm with you, toots. The music was soft and there was wine in the glasses. She started winking and making little passes at me. She grabbed me close and that's when she got bold. She started peeling up my back. I said, oh, your hands are cold. We went into her bedroom thinking of one thing. Took the phone off the hook to avoid the annoying ring. I caressed her body and then I kissed her cheek. And that's when I observed those satin bed sheets. I felt that it was time for me to make my move. I thought I better hurry up before I busted the groove. I leaned down to kiss her, but then out of the blue, a door slammed and a voice said,
Baby, where are you?
My boyfriend busted in, he grinned an evil grin and said,
Boy, I'ma tear your butt limb from limb.
I was scared as hell, where was I supposed to go? I just yelled, Geronimo, jumped out the window. Just my luck, we were in a snowstorm and all I had was my underwear on to keep me warm. And to top the night off, had to break in my place because my keys were in my pants back on Sheila's bookcase. I was done sneezing and coughing at you. I hope this doesn't happen too often, but nevertheless, don't mean to bust your bubble. But girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. So next time a girl gives you the play, just remember my rhymes and get the hell away.
Yo, man, you think they see your point? I don't know, man. I don't think they're really with it, man. I think you should give them another example. All right, give me a scratch. Let's make it funky right here.
I got a ring on my phone, May 5th last year. It was my girlfriend Betty. I said, hello, dear. I was just about to call you. I got a couple tickets to the Run DMC concert. It's 6 o'clock now. At 8, will you be ready? Alright, fine. See you then, Betty. I combed my hair, washed and brushed my teeth. Got funky, fresh dressed, and Molly Cox for teeth. Got to Betty's at 8. I was ready to jet until Betty's mom said, Betty's not ready yet. I sat there for at least an hour. It was 10 after 9 before she got in the shower. 9:35, she comes downstairs and said I need a little longer to finish my hair. At 10 o'clock, we had been missed the show. She comes downstairs and says, let's go. Go where? Go to sleep, I'm gone. I was steaming like a demon as I drove home, but it just goes to show. Not trying to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. So next time a girl gives you the play, just remember my rhyme. Just remember my rhyme. Take heed to my rhyme to get the hell away.
Man, first your parents just don't understand.
I know, word, man.
Then you had these crazy nightmares.
Why me? Why me?
What's next?
It's now these girls, man. Well, you know how it is. But can't live with them, can't live without them.
Okay, not only do you guys have like a different look, you have a different music sound altogether. What is the inspiration or the force or the source behind the music and the lyrics?
Vegetables.
Oh, matter of fact.
God. Vegetables.
Vegetables, God.
Eat a lot of
jazz.
vegetables, you know.
Nah, actually,
Vegetable, God, and jazz. Okay.
Good.
nah, actually, man, it's
Vegetable
just
jazz.
the thing, you know. All we are products of the old school, rejuvenating ourselves in moderation. We're doing what the Treacherous 3 used to do. We're doing what Funky 4 plus 1 more used to do. And we're doing what, you know, Fantastic used to do, but only we're doing it in a little bit more of a modernization, more of a 90s appeal, more, you know what I'm saying? Because back then, the music was like a babe, so it was kind of not primitive, but it was just young. It's matured a little bit now, so it's like different ways of doing things, but with the same sense.
The oven anymore, you cook a microwave oven, you know, so what we're doing is just taking what we learned and adding our portion to it and setting for the people who will come after us, you know, to do the same thing, you know.
Music has like a heavy jazz influence. It's like really heavy jazz influence, because jazz and rap
Parallels.
like that, you know. So we're just trying to, it's like a musical education.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing. Go ahead. Hit me.
Pump that body, work that body, pump that body, work that body, pump that body, work that body, pump that body. Pump it, baby. Pump the bass in a place. Party people, no time to waste. Yo, this jam is what you like, hitting hard and keep you hyper. Grab your body, start the party groove that'll make you move. Mr. Lee's back on the set. Yo, Yep, it's my thing with a big bang. If you can dance, you can hang. Let's go, no time to relax. Kick the bass drum to the max. Ask the party, start to jumping. Let the rhythm move something. In Chicago, where I go, all the people like to follow. Cause they guarantee the cuts. All the ladies shake your butt. Mr. Lee and CTP came to party. Now pump that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump it. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump it. Pump that body. Yo, baby. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Yo, baby, come on, let's go. Yo, I'll play the tempo, you hit the dance floor straight up, extra strength, no chaser. I'm guaranteed to rock the place up. Hype MC on the microphone. I made the crowd in a bass tone while I'm rapping. Hands are clapping, point blank, I was happening. So tune me in on your radio dial. I'll make your day complete with a smile. Like a mailman, I can deliver. Slick, quick, custom, make you shiver. Mr. Lee is the pioneer. Letting you know rap house is here. Jumping and jamming and screaming and pumping, let's party. Now pump that body. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Work. Pump that body. Work that body. Chicago. Pump that body. New York. Work that body. LA. Pump that body. Detroit. Work that body. Miami. Pump that body. Philly. Work that body. Houston. Pump that body. Minneapolis. Work that body. DC. Pump that body. Cisco. Work that body. New Orleans. Pump that body. London. Work that body. Holland. Pump that body. Paris. Work that body. Yo, this is Mr. Lee and Robbie G, and we're saying peace. See ya.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing.
Pump that body.
There's some more insipid ratings on records, but we'll get it together. This is edit time. It's called edit space. Anyway, so how did you guys come together? You grew up together, and tell us about where you come from, where you grew up at. Q-tip, since you're sleeping.
We were all spit from the same dragon.
I'm just like,
Ali's from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. We're from Queens. And Q-Tip and I started rapping
for you
together.
geographical buffs, I'm sure you remember.
He moved around our neighborhood. He used to do the beatbox for us. And they went to the same high school, Murray Bertram, which is the same high school as the Jungle Brothers, Brother J from X Clan.
You did?
I went to Brooklyn Tech.
Bertram and Thomas are rivals, you know.
Yeah. Thomas rivalry here.
Back to how they got together. We'll get back to
So
that.
that's how we got together as a group. We've been together for like 6-7 years.
24 years.
Was it hard, like, getting a record out, getting a record done, or whatever?
Yeah. We was together for about 6 years, well, 5.5 before we finally had a record deal. And, you know, we were always doing music ever since the 9th, 10th grade and stuff, especially then before I joined in the group. When I joined in, we started, like, moving towards more studio type work. And we also, the Jungle Brothers also attended the same high school. And, you know, they got their thing off, and they always kept us under their wing, you know.
What was so hard
We were
about
side
getting
by
a record?
side.
It was so hard, people, well, I mean, we saw the music that we're doing now is the same music that we were doing then. So I guess they weren't really with it, you know.
So. Ahead of your time, I guess.
Want to hear one of the old rhymes?
No!
Oh, one of the old rhymes, like, what?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're just moving right along.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Okay, so,
Believe
we'll
me,
be right
Old
back.
rhymes?
How you doing? I'm KRS-One. This is D-Nice. This is Dr. Ice.
Yeah.
And what we gonna do is introduce our next video.
Yeah.
We a group now.
Our new group is.
Can we lead that?
No.
But our next video that we're gonna release right now, what you check out, is Poison, right? Dr. KRS-D. Yeah. Nice.
Kool Moe S1. All right, so here we are again, and my name is KRS-One, for those that don't know, the teacher of hip-hop. We run a production company called Boogie Down Productions. I'm squinting because we're here in New York and the sun is blaring.
So Chris, man, so yo, why don't you do me a favor? Tell us about this Hail movement you started.
Well, it's called Human Education Against Lies, H-E-A-L. It's word warfare. We put out t-shirts like Jesus was an African, Aristotle was a thief, Dick Tracy is a racist. You know, things like that. Real good messages that kids really need to hear nowadays in the 90s. We stress for unity amongst humanity. That's basically it by way of education. You've been lied to for years about who Africans are, who the Europeans are, who the Asians are, who the Indians are. It's time to come together. So on that note, let me ask you a question, D. I think you just dropped an album. Can you explain a little bit to the public about that?
Yeah, it's called Call Me D-Nice. Why is it called Call Me D-Nice? Because my name is D-Nice.
Again, Hollywood is waiting.
Waiting.
For this gentleman.
Waiting. So, didn't you just drop an album?
Well, yes. In a way, I've dropped 3 albums.
In a way, you've dropped 4 albums.
Well, I've dropped 4 albums, but due to our legal status, I've dropped 3 albums.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. Genesis 14, verse 13. Abraham stepped.
Yo, Chris, man, yo.
D-Nice is in the booth, working harder than ever. D-Nice is rocking the sound set tonight. We're not through. I want to drop a new sound. That I speak is deal with facts, and you'll never get weak in the heart. In fact, you'll start to illuminate knowledge to others in a song. Let me demonstrate the force of knowledge. Knowledge reigns supreme. The ignorant is ripped to smithereens. What do you mean when you say I'm rebellious? Cause I don't accept everything that you're telling us. What are you selling us? The creator dwelling us. I sit in your unknown class while you're failing us. I failed your class cause I ain't with your reasoning. You're trying to make me you by seasoning. Up my mind with C.J. running. See John walking a hardcore New York. Come on now, it's like a chocolate cow. It doesn't exist, no way, no how. It seems to me that in the smoothest ebony, African history should be pumped up steadily, but it's not. And this has got to stop. See spot, run, get a spot. Insulting to a black mentality, a black way of life, or a jet black family. So I include with one concern that you must learn. Yo, Chris. Whoa. Hold up, D. Hold up, D. We're gonna see if they're really ready for this. Are you having fun tonight? I said, are you having fun tonight? I believe that if you're teaching history, deal with straight up facts, no mystery. Teach the student what needs to be taught. Cause black and white kids both take shorts. When one doesn't know about the other one's culture, ignorance swoops down like a vulture. Cause you don't know that you ain't just a janitor. No one told you about Benjamin Banneker, a brilliant black man that invented the almanac. Can't you see what KRS is coming at? Well, Eli Whitney, Haile Selassie, Granville Woods made the walkie-talkie. Louis Slatterman improved on Edison. Charles Drew did a lot for medicine. Garrett Morgan made the traffic lights. Harriet Tubman beat the slaves at night. Madam C.J. Walker made the straightening comb. But you won't know this if you weren't shown. The point I'm getting at, it might be hard, is we're just walking around brainwashed. See what I'm saying? It's not to diss a man. We need the 89 school system, one that caters to a black return, because you must learn. What up, cameraman? Let me start hard. We're not through with the ragga stuff. We're not through with the ragamuffin stuff yet, man. Line is the original name of Africa, now stripped of its fame. It's good to know that in ancient times, Egyptians developed all sciences of the mind, to the point where they ruled the planet. But Rome, Greece, and Persia was inhabited. They attacked and won the war, but it wasn't enough. They had to get to the core, because in that time it was Akibu line that moved religion, politics, and man. In order to destroy the Egyptian race, they had to wipe the sciences from off the face of the planet. So they proceeded to ban it and replace it with Christianity, and it's been that way all the way to today. Learn what we teach, hear what we say. But here comes the K, the R, the S, the O, the N, the E, the BDP, and we rhyme intelligently. Let me continue with Theodosius, a Greek ruler not known to most of us. He in the 4th century AD closed the Egyptian schools, you see. 2 years later, Justinian rules. 6 AD was it for schools. As a result, ignorance had swirled over Christian Europe and Greco-Roman worlds. This went on for 1,000 years of ignorance, stupidity, and tears. Now comes the 17th century hardness. Europe began to come out of its darkness. So Johann F. Blumenbach, a German, came out of nowhere and started confirming white supremacy in men of colors. Before this time, all men were brothers. It was Johann who went on to say, there are 5 different colors in the world today. That's Caucasian, Malayan, and Mongolian, American, Indian, and Ethiopian. Yet the ignorance gets scarier. He believed whites were superior. According to his idiotic fountain, the purest whites were from the Caucasus Mountains. J.A. Gouverneur and H.S. Chamberlain both supported this outrageous racism. This went on to what the master race should be, and why they killed the Jews in Germany. Here is the reason why I'm so concerned, because you must learn. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Check this out.
So D, let me resort the question to you. What is your career about? What are you all about? D, you're just sitting here. This is D-Nice from the group Boogie Down Productions. And, you know, you see a lot of D, you see him here and there. He was on the B side of the South Bronx, record called The P Is Free. And let's just go into a little bit about your career, D. What are you all about?
First of all, I don't want to talk about my career. I want to talk about how we met.
Reasonable. Do you want to hear about how we met? You have no choice.
Now, remember the first day I met you, you came to my house with Scott, right? What did you have on?
I don't even remember, but I remember it was bummy.
I remember it was a Kango hat and a pair of Adidas. I thought he was LL.
But of course, he quickly snapped out of it when the lyrics came flowing out the mouth.
I thought he was LL because he had a ham sandwich.
Yes, back in the days, I used to eat ham, chicken, beef, lamb, goat, you name it, anything, which brings me to my own personal life. Why do you eat ham, Chris? Pork chops and all sorts of atrocities like that. Well, this is our terrorist break. Let the terrorists go by.
My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. Yo, this is D-Nice. And I'm about to drop some funky lyrics on this track I made up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you don't stop. Yo, my name is D-Nice, although I hate to admit it. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. See, every episode remains in this mode. Very cool, very calm. There's no sweat in my palm. I just pick up the mic, proceed with a song. I get right to the point. My composition's not long or short. It's like a sport, hanging in the middle. But now if you're puzzled, let me kick the whole riddle. That my name is Derek, and if I didn't mention D-Nice, it's just a description. It describes the kid on the mic. I'm the TR-808, but just call me D-Nice. try to down me. Is it you or you or you or you or him? But I'm like a tree and every lyric is a limb. You throw it on the turntable, very unstable, but you gamble. Because you need that example. There's 1,000 MCs on the planet Earth now. What is the word? You say to get heard. Some like to explain, some talk educated, some like McBoo. He's X-rated. I like to think of myself as a pure rebel, a radical thinker on a musical level. Cause suckers wanna stop me and girls wanna kiss. Wherever I go, yo, it seems I can't be dissed. Cause my name is D-Nice, but all the girls call me Derek. It ran through my crew, so I guess I've inherited the job of explaining and also maintaining the fact D-Nice is remaining not as king nor prince, but as a teacher with dope beats like this, I know I'm gonna reach you. So now I don't think you should all despise this fact. D-Nice is on the rise, straight to the top like a bubble of water. It's a slaughter. So I think you oughta think realistically, not egotistically. It's suicide if you even think of dissing me. Cause if you try, I'ma make you wait to learn the reason I'm the 808, but just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how. Just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how I do it. I live in the Bronx by the D and the 4. Writing lyrics is addictive, writing more and more and more about peace, about war, about wars. Breaking city laws to me become a chore. I wear no jerry curls, but I still pull girls. I don't slur my words when I rap, cause that's whack. But in fact, I do not slack when I drop the funky lyric on a track. I'm not conceited when I walk the streets, and you can tell by the words that I speak that I'm not just another brother on the mic, cause the females love me, and they call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how. Just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how I did it. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how I did it. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers if you don't know how I did it.
But D, how did we meet? We met in Scott's house, by the way, over at Claremont Projects. I think that's not the name. It's Claremont.
We met in my apartment.
No, that's right.
On Woodicrest Avenue in the Bronx.
Right, that's right.
And that's when I didn't know how to rhyme. And Chris used to say, "Yo, D, I say you a song for $5."
And it was sold too, because I needed the money. Believe that.
Ah, that's funny.
And a couple of those songs appear on the new album, I believe.
No, he's lying to you. Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
Who are you gonna believe? Me? Well-respected rap artist, dealing with social commentary and political issues.
The way you can tell is I don't speak on political issues like Sir here. So you know he didn't write those rhymes.
But D, what did you do with the rhymes that you bought?
I sold them back to you. Remember Elementary on his first album? He stole them rhymes back from me. He sold them to me and then he took them back and put them on his album.
Let me say this.
So I said, the hell with Chris, I had to do it myself.
So he went out and said, I've got to do it myself. He broke off the group, mad, frustrated, totally aggravated. He said, I don't need y'all. I'm gonna do it myself. I remember that day, D. D broke out. He said, I don't need nobody. I'll do it myself. He got his little homeboy McBoo, and they went about their business. Next thing I heard, D was coming back. Yo, Chris, man, I want to go on tour with you.
Yo, he lying. He lying. He lying. You played me, man.
Well, anyway, what we will say.
Next thing you know, Chris was, yo, D, man, I can't make a hit record without you, man. Please produce Jack of Spades, and I'm still #1. Please give me the beat to Illegal Business, please. And he's
such is history.
Please give me my philosophy beat.
Such is history.
Please give me why
his
is that.
story. His story.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say, and keep in mind, this is 60% true. D is responsible for Jack of Spade, my philosophy.
I'm still #1.
No, not my philosophy. Scott's responsible for my philosophy.
No, Scott took my philosophy from me.
Well, regardless, Regardless, the man with the most money
Regardless,
wins.
you know you're in America because here's a thief right here.
Right here. You can only survive unless you're a thief. Now keep that in mind in America. We are flourishing under a system called capitalism. Now, D, speaking of going to other countries, didn't you rock England?
No, as a matter of fact, didn't I rock Brazil?
Matter of fact, let me tell you a little story. We had a show in Brazil, right? I didn't want to go because I was too large. So I said, well, let me send D-Nice, Willie D, rest of the crew out there. Well, I sent them out there. Of course, Brazil, they don't speak English. Obviously, their eyesight is a little off shot too because they didn't recognize that I wasn't there. So what happened was D-Nice did the lead vocal. Why don't you continue, D, because you were there.
Well, what happened was I did the vocals, but I didn't remember any vocals. So I was just making things up as I went along. Just so happened, everything I made up went on to my new album, Call Me D-Nice.
True story. True story. They don't understand English, so we were out there, or they were out there, just talking gibberish. Gibberish wind up on D-Nice's new album.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ice.
And I'm DJ Slice, and this is our new video.
What's what?
We did that already. All right, one more time, come on.
What video? What, soon?
Yeah. Soon. Something wrong? You got something? Grabs? They call. Let's go. All right.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ice.
And I'm DJ Slice, and this is our new video. Sue Me. Should I turn it on?
Turn it on.
Click. Check it out.
Sue me!
There's Dr. Ice.
Dr.
Ice, many psychologists say the ramifications of rap music on inner-city youth is devastating.
What a foolish question. Next question.
Is your music directly responsible for wilding?
It's not wilding, it's wilding. And wilding don't have jack to do with rap music. Next question.
Is it true that you perform operations on people who can't dance?
Out of my way, out of my way. You loudmouth rapper. When I get through suing you, you won't have a dime.
Flata?
Ooh!
I'm not giving you nothing.
I want a lawyer.
Dr. Ice, report to the stage for operation. Dr. Ice to the stage for operation.
Let's pump it up south to north. I'm gonna go off, throw off some of the rhymes I just wrote off. Top of my head, cause I'm flaring it, preparing up. Straight through without a pause or an interrupt. Quoted and translated to you because a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Hobbs, get hip to the skip. Don't trip, it's getting harder and hyper and hotter. But don't strip, cause I'll roll up, run up, pull out, gonna one battle, sun death, cause it'll never be one of. Suckers should be seen, I heard, that means you. I ain't stuttering, speak when you're talking to. And never ever diss a man you never met before. Cause now our family of five and now our family of four. Cause this is for real, picture your feel. While I'm grabbing my wood, cause I'm the man of steel. Pouring on enough rap without a bit of singing. Break your fool like you get with no upbringing. Cause I'm a fugitive like Robin Hood, I want wealth. And if I steal from the rich, I'm broke. No, nothing don't fear me. You heard what I said. You're telling me to go to hell, that's like a trip to Club Man. Hey, yo, I'll make you wish you never ever knew me. Like it, bump it, or sue me. Baby. Sue me. Baby. So listen to the rhythm. Dope, I'ma give them full force. Let's pump it up south to north, back and forth. You still on my tip? Get up and get down like a loser. I'ma beat it till it hurt. Get them off like a dirty shirt. Claiming he's tough and one of the best. While I'ma play him like a VHS. Cause I pause for no cause. I rock until I'm dead. Have you guess over air? Trying to catch your breath. I'ma take it away cause I'm conspicuous. And the beat is double ridiculous. Just listen to it. Don't bite the route. Cause if you do, you're going out. And I'm nowhere to concede it. Only convinced you've been shampooed, conditioned, and now you will be rich. Sue me. Baby. Yo, a lot of people out there been down in the dock, talking big mess behind my back. But I'ma let you know I ain't taking no slack. I'ma come up hard, rough and rugged, put you all in your place, and get downright dumb, crazy, or ridiculous. Something like this. You ain't got the feel of it, so you can't deal with it, but you wanna steal love it because it's dope and you love it. Downright dope, I'ma get the groove. You ain't shit, hit after hit. You know you can't get with this. That's why you walk around pissed, cause Doc exists as a strong lyricist. You feel what you hear because no one out there will dare to compare what I project to the air. We're no fear, rugged enough to tear a hole in my air, a salt by the pair. Bringing it down, the facts are wax. I give the ox to those who jukes me in the box. Your brother's gonna feel without a doubt. But what from the action your mouth don't think about? Cause when I pick up a pen, my word is born, my mission ain't done until the ink is gone. So check it out.
To me, baby. To me, baby. To me, baby. To me, baby, baby. To me.
Okay, briefly, how did you get your first major break in the industry? What was your first major break?
Well, my first major break was when I started out dancing, breakdancing. Me and Kango, when I was in a group called UTFO. Me and Kango, we were dancers, and we toured for my brother, which is in a group Whodini, which his name is Jalil. And we did a European tour, and we just basically served everybody. We was the first dancers to be down with a rap group. And that was our break. You know, my brother Jalil got us our start, and watching him do, you know, his shows and his tours gave us the instinct and the initiative to want to go on our own and be our own rappers. And I think that's basically how we got to where we're at today.
A lot of people make stereotypes, again, about entertainers in general, and they feel that they'll get in front of the cameras or get in studios and say, stay away from drugs and go to school and do the right thing or whatever, just because it's the right thing to do. And I want everyone to know that I personally am saying what I'm saying, number one, from experience, and number two, coming from the heart. I attribute a lot of my success to the fact that I've never done drugs, and the fact that I've never done drugs has enabled me to always have focus and keep a straight mind. And like I said before, in the record God Made Me Funky, I kept the faith. And when you keep the faith and you have more faith in God and in yourself, then you cannot be stopped at anything you want to do. That's Kool Moe Dee. You be cool, buy my records, keep the faith, and stay away from drugs. I'll see you all next year in the movies. 5-0.